Hi everyone, welcome to the channel dedicated to sharing the profound insights and wisdom of Andromedan contactee Alex Collier. If you're new here, you're in for a journey that expands your mind and consciousness, bringing you closer to understanding the messages from the fifth density Andromedan extraterrestrials. For those returning, we're grateful for your continued support. Before we dive into today's enlightening content, we have a small favor to ask. If you find value in the knowledge shared in this video, please consider hitting that like button, subscribing to our channel, and clicking the bell icon so you never miss an update. Your engagement helps us amplify Alex Collier's message, allowing us to reach a larger audience with these vital messages. We'd also love to hear from you, so please engage with the comments below. Whether it's a question, your thoughts, or even just an emoji for the sake of engagement, every comment counts. We read every single comment, and your feedback is incredibly valuable to us, as it all contributes to our mission of expanding this community. So please don't hesitate to leave your thoughts below. Additionally, if you'd like to support us further, consider giving a super thanks tip by clicking the heart with the $sign. This small gesture allows us to continue bringing you more of Alex's messages, unfiltered and directly from his lifelong experiences with the Andromedans. Today's video includes a compilation of several of the many important questions Alex Collier has received over the past few years, so please sit back, relax, and enjoy today's video.
I've heard about an energetic event that might happen that could raise the consciousness of many people around the world in just a few days. When it happens, what effect will it have on the plans of the psychopaths for humanity? If that is what's going to happen.
What will happen to the psychopaths of humanity? Is that right? Is that what I heard you say?
What effect will it have on the plans of the psychopaths for humanity? Or the plans for humanity by the psychopaths?
Well, if they're losing it now, I can only imagine their fuzzy little heads will pop, will explode if this happens, if it jumps any higher over a 3-day period. I'm not aware of such an event. It could speed things up. Like I said, their little fuzzy heads could explode, which means that they would then be out of the way. You know, there's probably pros and cons to it, but not knowing anything about what it is and any parameters, you know, it's really difficult to say. What would it do to humanity as a whole? I mean, so many people are already struggling on an emotional level, you know, and most of them haven't got a clue as to what's going on. You know, they're just exasperated. They're hyper. They're moody. They have incredible swings of emotions, you know, and they think they need to take pharmaceutical drugs when basically what's going on is spiritual energy is entering their life, and they're not being given any guidance to what that is and how to even approach it and absorb it and process it. You know, in any way, shape, or form. So, gosh, I hope it doesn't happen that way. I don't know that humanity would be able to handle it very well. At the present time, I don't know that humanity could handle it very well.
It's pretty intense already.
It is. It is. I mean, just the stuff that I've seen in the last couple of weeks. This morning here at the library, waiting for it to open, some guy went off on this little old lady for no reason whatsoever. And 3 gentlemen, including myself, started approaching this guy, and he turned around and ran away like he was a cat burglar. You know, but he just went off on this poor old woman for no reason whatsoever. And it just wasn't right. It's not okay. You know, and I've seen a lot of things like that all over So, anyway, I digress.
So, can you explain the historical dynamic between the Draconian Reptilians and the Annunaki?
Probably not efficiently or with any real great depth. I do know that there has been a great deal of interaction between the races over the vastness of time. I know that there have been some intermarriages, and those were always arranged for political reasons and purposes, like treaties. But I also know that they have not always saw eye to eye on things. And the problem with dealing with regressives is that one always wants to be the alpha. And when you have other groups who simply don't agree to make you the alpha, there's conflict. And there has been, I guess for the last, in Earth years, 800, 900,000 years, a great deal of conflict between the Annunaki and the Seekar. Because the Annunaki are very independent. They are very much a warrior class as well. They have a very benevolent side to them when they exercise it. But the royals of the Seekar, they always want to be the alpha, you know. And they always want the others to do the alpha's bidding. And that doesn't always happen. So that pretty much sums up the entire relationship. I can't give you any more specifics other than that. But we'll just have to see. You know, ladies and gentlemen, one day we will all know. I hope it's soon. I certainly hope it's in my lifetime. But one of these days we're all going to know. It's going to be laid out for us. You know, our ancestry, who we are, where we come from, what our true history is, what our true potential could be. That's all going to be laid out before us. Because the benevolents realize that you need this information, you need self-knowledge in order to grow and make decisions to evolve in a specific direction. They all know this. Where the regressives, they don't want to tell you anything because they want to control and manipulate you into creating what they want. So, the regressives no longer have the strong foothold on Earth anymore. But there is some stuff to be played out. There is. So, but at some point we'll all know. You know, it'll be an aha moment. And I've mentioned this before in other talks. It'll be an aha moment for all of us. And it's coming. It's coming. I wish I could give you a date. But I don't know it. I don't know it.
From George, Alex, organizations like the EU on this planet don't seem to work due to the political stranglehold they have over their member states. Are the Andromedans involved in any forums between either different regions, planets, or star systems like we have on Earth? And how do these forums work for them?
Okay, that's a great question. That's a great question. Now, one of the lessons of Earth has been about the exercise of power. If you look at all of the political structures, and in most part, virtually all the structures that we create, they're all based on power. The ability to have power, to control power, to manipulate power, and to garner more power. Yes, the A's are part of other councils, but my understanding is that none of these councils are based on power. They are based on sharing knowledge, sharing information, and implementing the sharing of the knowledge and the power, or the sharing the knowledge and the information with other races. It is not about power over. It is not about, okay, we have all this power and we're going to hold it. That structure, that old paradigm, which began with the reptilian structures, those in Alpha Draconis, the old Orion power structures, and other star systems that were caught up in that structure, most of those structures have all but crumbled. And many of them don't even exist anymore. There's a few that are left, but they are also crumbling because that paradigm simply doesn't work, because it's not self-generating. You can't continuously feed off of something else and expect to remain healthy. You can't be healthy feeding off the life force of something else. Because once that force dies, once that something else dies, then you have to go to something else. What happens is, in the end, those structures are left with nothing but themselves to feed off of, and they die and they implode. They're gone. They just implode, or they disintegrate and they take themselves out. And if you remember, those of you who have read the notes and in some of the interviews from the 90s, you know, the A's have found remnants of civilizations on other planets that did just that. They were caught in the power struggles and they took themselves out. They no longer even exist. All that's left is the archaeology, the geology of their civilization. Because this paradigm, it simply doesn't thrive. It's not the original intent of this universe, okay? To have power over. That was not the original intent. The original intent is self-love, self-respect, and expansion of joy and love. That was the original intent, okay? And in the end, that's all that's going to be left standing. So I hope that answers your question. And we see that today, you know, with our planet. We see these power structures beginning to crumble. That's because, you know, once you've taken everything and you've bled everything dry to keep yourself in power and there's nothing left, it's over. Game is over. You begin to feed off yourself, okay? And that's what's going to happen. It's going to implode. They're all going to fall down on top of themselves, and those who are completely stuck and will not evolve from that power structure, that power over others, they will be removed. They will die in their sleep. They're going to go. They're just going to go, okay? Because that is not the original intent of humanity. That is not the original intent of the Patal. That is just not going to continue to thrive and survive. It's over. Okay, we're just seeing the remnants. We're watching that whole thing die now. That's what it is. And it should be noted that we should, in fact, watch it die and learn from that history, learn from that paradigm, so that, you know, future generations that are beyond us can continue to evolve and learn that lesson and not repeat it.
It's the learning of the lesson and not repeating bit. That's the clever bit. That's what we really need to get
And it's the remembering. Yeah. It's the remembering. It's not rewriting history. It's like, okay, this is what really happened. And loving ourselves enough to say, look, mistakes were made, you know, but we've learned from them. We've moved on. Not just throw it under the rug and say, well, you know, we don't want to talk about it. You know, I mean, it always comes back. It always rears its head, you know.
Indeed, and that's the subject of some of the roundtables that I want to bring up in the future, is like the true galactic history, our real history in a very detailed way, which I hope that you'll join in with your perspective on that.
If I can, surely. I can tell you it's remarkable. Ladies and gentlemen, when you finally realize, you yourself, without anybody telling you, when you finally realize and you have that moment within you where you truly grasp your place in the galaxy, in the universe, in the creation of time, when you realize that you are not in any way, shape, or form insignificant, that you have this lineage of experiences and lifetimes and knowledge, and the fact that you are just this enormously magnificent being that is beyond description, there's just nothing like it. There is just nothing like it. And it's hard to maintain that moment here on Earth with all this containment going on. But it'll get easier once the containment ends. It will. Because you'll be able to keep more and more of it, you know, more of the knowledge, more of the love, more of the emotion, more of the intuition. You'll be able to maintain more of the trust that you have in you, more and more and more. And the more that builds, the more self-love that you garner, because you have more trust in you, because you're not getting the crap beating out of you every day by the containment of this world trying to control and manipulate. Whew. It's tiring. Yep. It really is. You know, it gets old. I mean, it is old. It is old.
Who stopped Nibiru? Well, I think you said before who that was. That right?
I don't know if it was a mutual agreement or if someone put a dump truck in front of them or if there was a warning. I would tend to think that with all the activity here, that it was a mutual agreement to stop. That makes the most logical sense, because there's no fighting going on around that. The only real activity that's occurring is around Earth and a very specific area regarding the asteroid belt. Ceres, the very large asteroid, CERES. There's a lot of activity around there because that's where the regressives were making all the weapons. The alien weapons that they were giving to the marauders and the pirates, etc., etc. It's unfortunate, but there are several 100,000 human beings there inside that particular asteroid who are slaves to making the weapons. It's a very, very, very dark field of energy there. Very dark. And they're quarantined as well. And I don't know if they're going to be able to rescue everybody that's there. I simply don't know. It doesn't look good, to be perfectly honest with you. Because when rats get cornered, they do terrible things.
Is the Planet X system still stopped? And will it be stalled till Earth gets to the other side of the Sun? And if so, will this prevent a pole shift with resulting global coastal event? And if the Planet X system flies by when Earth is on the other side of the Sun, what cataclysms do we still need to prepare for? Now, I think you covered some of that earlier, but
we can revisit it. We can revisit it very quickly because I know there's other questions. Yes, it's still stalled. or stopped. I've covered the debris field. That there's a lot of cleaning out going on there. Okay. The planet Earth is still moving. We are moving in our rotation around the sun. My understanding is that it is not supposed to come right over the top of us anymore, which would have been the case, and it would have been a horrific, catastrophic, extinction-level event for most life forms on this planet. Okay? Now, just the fact that it is in fact stopped, and what's interesting is that people can see it. There are sky cameras watching it. A friend of mine sent me a video of Russian fighter pilots in the air over northern Russia. There's the sun, and there's the red star right there next to it. Okay, behind it. I mean, it's just amazing, you know. And these are Russian fighter pilots videotaping this, and you know the Russians are sharing this information with their people. You know, so when we say the national anthem, the home of the free and land of the brave, you know, I don't know about the free part anymore. It's sure not looking good. Okay, you know, there's some hypocrisy there, and you know we're all going to have to face that here real soon, I think. Now, as far as the pole shift, I'm not aware of it. I sincerely hope that's not what occurs. I think what's happening with the magnetic field is an interaction with what's going on. We'll just have to stay tuned for that. But the fact that Planet X has stopped, Nibiru has stopped, ladies and gentlemen, that's just a miracle. That is a miracle. Okay? I mean, it is nothing short of a miracle. I mean, you really, those of you who have been watching this and have been paying attention, you just need to know that that's a miracle. Okay? If you had any doubts of a divine hand or divine anything, you know, you need to revisit that, because that's a miracle. The fact that it's just sitting there now and we are moving out of its way. My understanding is when it finally does start to move, whenever that is, it will pass behind us, but we will all see it. We will not only see the star, but we will see the 7 planets and moons that evolve around it passing with it. Okay? We will all see it. And they want us to see it. They want us to realize we are part of something much bigger. And it's imperative that people get that. Okay? I mean, think about it. You are multidimensional. And you are living simultaneously on other levels. And your box on Earth is this big. That's it. That's your life. That's a crime, that you have narrowed your vision through programming, through fear, through whatever your decisions are, that you have narrowed your vision to this. And the only ones who can change that are you, or those who have their vision this narrow. Okay? So things are going to be presented to open up that narrow vision. There will be no denying it. Okay? So there will be things put in front of everybody where they're going to have to open up their vision and say, wow, how did that get there? When did that get there? You know, because most people aren't paying attention. Now, let's revisit this as well, since we're on the subject. In the last webinar, I talked about Pluto. Well, Pluto, the newest information is that Pluto has a much stronger atmosphere around it than they ever thought it did. So now they're having to revisit the fact that whether Pluto's a planet or not. Okay? So I'm going to put this back on the table, because the Babylonians, the Sumerians, the Chaldeans, they all had it right. Okay? They described our solar system from the outside in. describing all the planets, their colors, everything. And the fact that some are on their side, had rings, all of this was described. Planet 9 is, in fact, Planet 10. Planet 10, and a numerical value, is 10. Okay? Planet X, which is a numerical value, is, in fact, a 10. We're all talking about the same thing. Okay? It's all semantics. It's doublethink, it's double talk. You got to be able to look past all that shit. Okay? Because they're really, really good at this. They're really, really good at this. We are all talking about the same thing. Okay. Next question.
Meanwhile,
I don't mean to keep rambling, and I hope I'm not.
please don't. No, you're not. Don't worry about it. It's not a ramble. I mean, you say things from your heart and soul, which just touch everybody, and that's the important thing. How do the Andromedans regard to what we call Satan? Is it an entity? Where's it gone? Is it an entity of this solar system only, or is it something bigger? That's an interesting question.
They see the concept of Satan as a myth, that a single person like that does not exist. Now, I know that there are some speakers who refer to Satan in our realm as Enki of the Sumerian texts. And I've also heard that it would be Enlil. I've also heard that there's also talk of a reptilian warlord from the time of Atlantis known as Annunaki that make reference to. In the Andromedan perspective, that is a myth, it's a fable, and that there is no singular person that exists that is that person. It more or less is a dialogue. It is a concept of evil incarnate in a group that suppresses others. And it doesn't have to be solely reptilian. It can be human. It can be insexual, insectoid. It can be in any other type of life forms, whether it's life forms that are methane, those that are cobalt. There's all kinds of different physical life forms out there. But it's an idea. It's an idea about a group that intentionally suppress others for the sole purpose of feeding off their light. Okay? That's how they view this. And what's also interesting is that in 1962, at the Second Ecumenical Council of the Vatican, they admitted to creating the myth of Satan. So you might want to look into that. You might want to look into that.
Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you found it insightful, please like the video, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon so you don't miss out on future updates. If you have any questions relating to today's video, please also leave them below. We read all the comments and take on board what our viewers have to say about Alex Collier's work. Remember, your support helps Alex Collier's knowledge and the messages from the Andromedans reach more people. If you'd like to support the channel even more, you can give us a super thanks tip by clicking the heart icon with a $sign. It really helps our team bring you more content. Also, be sure to visit alexcollier.org to sign up for our regular email newsletter. It's the best way to stay updated with the latest news, exclusive content, and upcoming live webinars. For the latest insights from Alex Collier, check out alexcollier.live. And if you want to explore over 250 past webinars, head over to alexcollier.tv. Thank you for being a part of this journey and supporting Alex Collier's work. We couldn't do this without you, and we're genuinely grateful for your support. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the vast mysteries of our universe. If you would like to see the Andromedan contactee Alex Collier live via video stream, We hold a live online seminar every Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. For more information on upcoming live webinars, please visit alexcollier.org.